So yeah, this is how to make a EGM, electronic Gqom music. It's the DJ lag style with, the 808. It's that heavy bass Gqom music. So what do I have here? The synth. So we start off with that. Now on the synth, I have once again gross beat with the saw gate 2 preset, and the EQ I'm just boosting some of the highs. So without, as you can hear, it adds that little bit of a stutter to it. The next up is the Vox, the first Vox. Just that dark sounding, you know. Then now for the bass line. So I initially had this bass line here with the slide notes. So it's sort of doing a pitch bend. But then I was like, you know what? In the intro, I thought of adding an organ bass. So I mean, you don't really hear the organ bass in Gqom music. So that's why I was like, let me do this. So yeah, it just gives it a different vibe. So then moving on to the 808 and log drum. So it's an 808 with a log drum laid underneath it. Obviously, is more so to add an attack to the to the 808. So I mean, without the log drum, you can sort of hear that that the like initial knock, so the attack of it. And in terms of the effects, the 808, there's nothing on the mixer chain. And then the log drum, all I've done is just added an EQ, done this just to cut out the low frequencies, so the 808 and the log drum doesn't have them conflicting. So then what else do we have? Well, the crash is just a white noise. It's a white noise downlifter. And then the riser, well, this is your typical riser that's used in a lot of Gqom songs. And then I have an uplifter, so that is this one right here. Then next up is the hat. So it's basically following the pattern of the 808. So it's playing on every note, but there is extra notes that I have added just to give it a little bit more, rhythm with the 808. It's just an extra note there. And then the first clap that I added that plays the same pattern, but I added the swing note there. So with the 808, then next up is the second Vox. And now on this one was where I added the gate way to make it a bit more creative, the sound of it. So it's just getting creative with your vocals. And there's it here, which is on the quarter note, which, as I said, if you want to get creative with your vocals, add a quarter note gate on it. It adds that stutter effect. It sounds cool. So yeah, you can take that tip and add it to your own music. Then next up is I've added this clap here, so it plays on the first 3 notes. So with the it plays the first 3 notes. Obviously, there's some parts where there's only 2 notes, but it still plays. So I just keep it at that constant pattern, or at the constant rhythm. Next up is my drum fill, which you guys already know that by now. It's my signature drum fill. Then next is the whistle. So I have put on the kilohertz transgate on a 16th note. So as you can hear, with it in context with the song, let me mute the vocal. Because if I had it on a 32 note, as you can hear, it sounds quite fast. So on a 16th note, it just adds to the groove. And then this vocal loop was one that I found and I chopped and made it, unique to me. I pitched it down to the key of the song. And what did I add? Okay, so once again, I've added a reverb, which is the default reverb preset. Delay, which is the acapella delay that I have with changing the mix level. And then an EQ, cutting out the low ends at 67 hertz and boosting at the higher frequencies. And then in the drop, obviously I chopped it up to make a pattern with the vocal, and that's how it is. Then next up is this pitch tom, which sort of brings that electronic vibe. So this is it by itself. It's playing a triplet note. Well, a triplet pattern, I should say. Now, what have I added to this? Firstly is a frequency shifter, which someone actually recommended this, to put a frequency shifter, and what I did was at the ending of every 8 bars I just added the node there. So it's a subtle change that it does, but yeah, I felt that it worked. Next up is a reverb. This is the default reverb preset as is. Then next up is a transient processor. So I have turned the attack up to 57%. So without it on, it just brings the attack of the sound, to be more present. And then next up we got a distortion, so the Fruity Blood Overdrive on its default settings. And then this is the EQ. Only thing I'm doing is cutting out the low frequencies. So that is, there's hardly any low frequencies, but hey, you never know. And then, yeah, that is pretty much the whole song. For the second breakdown, I added the initial bass that I had. So the one with the pitch bend notes, and then in the build up I brought in the organ bass.
It's a DJMattz exclusive.
And then with the second drop, I have the pitch tom playing throughout. So so yeah, guys, that is how you make a EGM, electronic Gqom music, DJ lag, 808 style Gqom track. So yeah, that's how you make it.